This is Valley News Live at 10.
WeFesters are just starting to pile into Sioux Pass Ranch and Lakes Country for a time filled with music and hopefully a lot of fun.
Valley News Team's Alex Larson spoke with event management today about what changes they're bringing to the table and how they plan to keep such large crowds safe.
I'm anxious to get this brand new stage fired up with our big artists. You know, Jason Aldean headlining the first night. It's going to be an awesome year for WeFest.
WeFest General Manager Mark Bierke says each year, WeFest takes about 18 months to put together.
As soon as this show's end, we're going to sit down and analyze what we did right and what we did wrong and what we can fix and how we can grow this show back to where it was.
Music festival safety has become a huge concern lately, but Bierke says not to worry.
We're a partner with Live Nation, and they have one of the best security systems in place for big events, so we're working with them, you know, playing with, off their lead.
He says they have all of the proper protocols in place if anything were to get out of hand.
We're a very unique venue. First of all, the part of the country we're in, but the way this venue is set up, some of those things that we see and happen at other places just really can't happen here because of the way this facility is set up. You know, we're 450 acres of our own place.
Other changes include a new country club, concrete stage, and a general admission pit near the also new thrust of the stage, so fans can get right up next to the performers.
Our VIP area is all expanded and finished off. I mean, the place hasn't looked this good in a long, long time.
And here's some advice for those heading out WeFesting this week from a couple of veteran campers.
Get wild. Make sure you keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you got plenty of beads on you. A lot of drinks. Don't lose your boys.
Don't party too hard on Tuesday and Wednesday, because Thursday and Friday, Saturday are going to be better.
In Detroit Lakes, Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Music starts on the WeFest stage tomorrow at 2:45. Maybe you want to, hydrate a little bit too.
To get your WeFest forecast and the latest weather wherever you are, make sure you keep that VNL weather app handy. Nathan joins us now with the first look at tomorrow. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. Again, plugging that weather app. If you are going out to Detroit Lakes, away from your regular computer, away from your TV, the weather app can help you track the radar, and it gives you warnings wherever you may find yourself this weekend. So a great tool to have, especially as we're tracking the chance of some weekend storms here. We'll talk about that here in about 8 minutes or so. Let's talk about tonight, though. Beautiful day today, a nice cool evening, a beautiful sunset still in our Grand Forks home of Economy Skycam. 57 at current temperature in Bemidji. Wow, nice and cool. 60 even in Fargo. 66 in Devil's Lake, actually one of the warmer spots. Seeing a bit of a southerly wind in Devil's Lake at this hour. Now 63 that temperature in Grand Forks, and 60s, low 60s there in Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, and Wadena. So windows can get flung open right now because things are quiet, things are dry. Those temperatures are fantastic. Satellite radar, nothing of concern there. We'll move on, nothing to talk about. Clear skies for us this evening. There's that wind out of the south a little bit in Devil's Lake, but for most of us, we'll say light and variable is the wind speed at this hour across the region. For this evening, the overnight in Fargo, things stay dry and quiet. The south wind, though, does pick up as we head towards sunrise tomorrow. So that means our temperatures rise pretty quickly as we go toward lunchtime on our Thursday, but mid-50s expected, upper 50s in Fargo for that morning temperature. Mid to upper 50s expected in Grand Forks with those clear skies. Same story there. South wind really picks up. Humidity on the rise for tomorrow. Heat on the rise for tomorrow. That could feed some storms on Friday with a cold front coming through. So, of course, Stacy, Justin will break down what to expect for both tomorrow and ahead to WeFest weekend here in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks so much, Nathan. An anti-abortion group says the work begins tomorrow as it's leading a coalition of Christian churches and community members trying to keep Red River Women's Clinic from opening a new facility in Moorhead. The clinic director has indicated they have a new location in Moorhead as abortion is set to become illegal in North Dakota by the end of this month. Minnesota State Representative Tom Miller, who's one of the people heading up Plan Action, says while they don't have any legal way to stop them, they are planning to make the move problematic.
We start with prayer vigils out there tomorrow, and we are also going to do grassroots community work. So we are going to be going to people's doors.
Meanwhile, in Minnesota, where abortion is protected for now, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey signed an executive order this afternoon to protect women seeking abortion. It bans city staff from giving information to other states or jurisdictions about patients or abortion providers.
New tonight, day 2 of Minnesota Farm Fest saw Governor Tim Walz on the far side of the screen here, as well as Republican challenger Dr. Scott Jensen squaring off in their first face-to-face debate of the season. Sophia Martinez reports.
One of the first issues discussed was the tension between family farms and large operations.
False argument that it's family farms versus larger operations. We in Minnesota are proving that there's room for everyone and that the market is going to drive where we go in those solutions.
I reject Governor Walz's comment that this is a false argument between family farms and that. This is not a false argument. Over my dead body will Minnesota ever sell farmland to foreign corporations. Count on it.
Throughout the debate, Jensen questioned Governor Walz's response to COVID-19.
Let's be clear. There is nothing about our response to COVID in regards to our seniors, our frail, our elderly, our assisted living, or our nursing home that would be a model for the United States. There's not one thing, not one.
As well as public safety issues and his response to the protests that took place in Minneapolis after the death of George Floyd in 2020.
Had I been in the governor's office, the National Guard would have been on the streets sooner.
Governor Walz, for the first time, stood up and responded.
Very clear about this. Having served 24 years in the National Guard, that's a lot more experience than watching Top Gun Maverick and second guessing where our men and women are putting themselves at risk. That's a lot bigger difference. And they performed historically and they performed heroically.
The issues discussed range from public safety, unemployment, childcare, response to COVID-19, the budget surplus, and many others. Minnesota is currently sitting with $7 billion from the budget.
People expect legislators to get their job done, and I think we should be sent back in special session and told, finish the deal that we already agreed to with $4 billion in tax cuts, $4 billion to help Minnesotans, and don't adjourn until you get it done, and I would support that.
This is the first head-to-head debate between the candidates.
The primary is Tuesday, though these two wouldn't be until the general election in November. You can find all the voting information you need right on our website, valleynewslive.com, and the VNL News app.
Governor Tim Walz and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum have ordered U.S. and state flags to be flown at half-staff until midnight tomorrow in honor of U.S. Representative Jackie Walorski of Indiana. At just 58 years old, she and 2 of her staff members died in a head-on collision today. The news comes as a major shock on Capitol Hill and immediately sparked an outpouring of grief from lawmakers. Meanwhile, in the Twin Cities, the Ramsey County community is mourning the sudden loss of a sheriff's deputy. Dallas Edburn was found dead in his car after leaving work on Sunday. He joined the sheriff's office in 2017 and was a well-respected member of the agency's SWAT team. An autopsy is pending.
More than 2 months after a Grand Forks man was found dead, a different man has now been charged for that deadly stabbing. Kindy Jallow is in jail tonight, charged with intentional murder and tampering with evidence. The death of 67-year-old Douglas Elgert back on May 24th. Court documents say Jallow was at the scene and admitted to investigators at the time not for the murder, but that he threw away evidence because he was scared of getting into trouble.
Also new for you tonight, the accused gunman in the mass shooting at the July 4th parade in Highland Park, Illinois, has pleaded not guilty to more than 100 felony charges.
Robert Cremo was indicted by a grand jury last week on 117 felony counts, including murder, attempted murder, and aggravated battery. At his brief arraignment hearing today, Cremo pleaded not guilty to all charges. Police say after fleeing the scene of that mass shooting in Highland Park, the gunman drove to Wisconsin, seriously contemplated another shooting in Madison. He's due back in court November 1st for a case management hearing. If convicted of killing at least 2 people of the many, he'll face a mandatory life sentence. He's being held without bond as he awaits trial.
Wide open spaces, clean cities, and room to play. Those are some of the positive traits listed in the Find the Good Life in North Dakota campaign. The Department of Commerce relaunched the program to help bring job seekers to the state and connect them with employers. Since the campaign has been active since mid-June, more than 300 people have enrolled for its services. And if you're heading to the north shore of Lake Superior, you may notice a historic ship under repair. The Leif Erikson Viking ship was built in Norway in 1926 and given to the city of Duluth as a gift from a local businessman. It's now been moved to Knife River, where a nonprofit called Save Our Ship hopes to return it to its former glory after years of neglect.